Joining us now is PatrickBetDavid, host of the PatrickBetDavid or PBD podcast. Big fan of Donald Trump, obviously comes from a different perspective than we do here at TYT. But Patrick, congratulations. I'm sure you're elated over last night's results.
Yes, thanks for having me on.
Well, I'll start off. Tell me what you think.
Hey everyone. Today we're breaking down PatrickBetDavid's take on the Young Turks about Trump's comeback and why he's resonating with so many voters right now. BetDavid highlights Trump's new, more relaxed approach and why family-focused, business-friendly states like Florida are drawing people away from places like California. Plus, we'll explore how Trump's populist vibe is even shaking up the Republican Party itself. Stick around for some eye-opening insights on what could be driving big changes in American politics. Let's check it out.
Donald Trump did this time around to attract a higher percentage of American voters. I mean, he honestly blew Kamala Harris out. It was unexpected, but what do you think he did this time around that made all the difference?
Well, I will tell you, I think Kamala is the worst candidate the left has had in a while. I think if there was a primary, she wouldn't have beaten Josh Shapiro. She wouldn't have beaten Pritzker, Newsom, maybe Whitmer at best, because that's just not her. I don't see her as a one. I see Whitmer as a one more than I see her as a one. So it was a terrible candidate. On the area of Trump, if you think about 2020, there is an element, you know how you create content? Both of you would know this. You've been doing this for a long time at the highest level. I remember about 6 years ago, I pull in Mario and I'm like, Mario, watch the YouTube channel, the last 100 videos that we have, see how many of them have gone over 100,000 views. And we first listed out how many videos we have produced over 1 million views, 100 views. So we had a lot of them. And I said, but let's look at the last 100 videos. And we looked at it. Only 2 or 3 videos were of 100,000 views. He says, Pat, I cannot believe we're only 2 or 3. I said, why do you think that is? And he's giving me his ideas, trying to be nice to me. Like, well, I just think it's this. I said, it's not the thumbnail. I said, it's not the title. I said, it's not any of that stuff. It's the fact that I don't look like I'm enjoying creating content. And the audience can tell. Whenever you're miserable like this and you're not happy about what you're doing and you're bitter and upset, the audience walks. They want to watch somebody that enjoys what they're doing. President Trump in 2020 didn't seem happy. He wasn't in flow state. In 2016, he was. In 2024, I will tell you one of the interesting things that happened with him in this 2024 election, and specifically the last 5 months. I can't even say last year. I can't even say 8 months ago. It's specifically the last 5 months. He looked like he started having fun. And when he's having fun, he's talking, he's doing his trolling, he's, getting under people's skin, he's doing his thing, he's being Trump, he wins. That wasn't the case in 2024. I can give you a lot of other things, but the X factor for me is he looked like he was having fun in 2024. He didn't look like he was having fun in 2020.
So, Patrick, there's folks on the left who think that people voted for Trump because, in my opinion, the hilarious lingo of some leftists, they centered their whiteness above anything else. So obviously, you guys disagree that it's about race, right, or gender. So what would you say your audience would say was the number one reason that they don't like the Democrats, they don't trust the Democrats, and they prefer Trump?
Well, I mean, if you think about, for me, I'll speak for myself. I'm still a registered independent till today. It's been 15 years that I'm a registered independent. You can go online and find out what PBD is registered for. You'll see independent. And I voted Bill Clinton. And I think Bill Clinton was a good president. Just so you know, I thought when people talk about Bill Clinton, I thought he did a good job. I thought him being able to sit there and work with Newt Gingrich, making things work was exciting, was good. But at that time, I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. I'm 46 years old. Today, I got 4 kids. And I got to kind of sit there and think about who's better for my kids. I lived in California 24 years. I ran a business in California for 24 years. I left California because one day some local, tax assessor comes up and he says, "Hey, we heard your business has grown." I said, "Yes." "Well, you need to pay a local tax assessor tax of $69,000. I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Yeah, I need to pay." I said, "For what?" So, well, based on our estimation, this is how much you need to pay. Nothing audited, estimation. I go to the 7th floor, which was my accounting firm at the time. I said, what is this all about? He says, happens 1 out of 20 business owners, but if they come to you, you got to pay for it. I said, what are you talking about? $69,000. He says, yes. I said, what counties or cities in LA do I not have to pay a assessor tax? And I don't remember at that time, I thought he said Victorville, Burbank, Glendale, Santa Monica, a couple of these cities. I said, I'm going to move to Glendale. So I moved my headquarters to Glendale because I want to be in a place that I can reinvest that money into the business. Eventually, I left California because I didn't think California was a pro-business state. Hence, today, after COVID, 2 states in America lost $1 trillion of assets under management, New York and California. Bad policies push business owners like me, like Musk, like many others out. Now I go to Texas. I live in Texas for 5 years, Dallas, Texas, fell in love with Texas. But I wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted California and I wanted Texas. California and Texas had a baby. It's Florida. I moved to Florida. Being in Florida, I like DeSantis that he protects my kids. Even in Texas one night, when my first 2 kids are fully vaccinated, the 3rd kid, fewer, the 4th kid, we wanted the options on what to do and what not to do. You know, in Texas, there is no religious exemption. In Florida, there is. So for me at this phase of my life, when me and my wife are getting smarter, educated, we're making decisions on clear philosophies on how we want to raise our family, probably one of the main things that Trump appealed to family people like me, it sounded sane. Some of the stuff the left was saying made no sense to me. What are we talking about on what some of the messages that were given? I understand the pro-abortion, the pro-life debate, no problem. I actually understand that argument on how it can be made on both sides. I'm a Christian myself. My position is pretty clear where I'm going to be at, but I can fully understand that being a debate to be talking about. So, they went a little bit too much. By the way, Joe Biden was a moderate Democrat. I know a lot of people on the right are going to be upset with me. How could you say he was a moderate Democrat and all? He was a moderate, but he was forced to act like he was a progressive. But Kamala was a progressive, trying to act like she's a moderate, and she wasn't, and people just didn't believe her.
Let's pause and break down what PatrickBetDavid is saying here, because he's raising some strong points about why Trump's approach is resonating. He talks about Trump's new, more relaxed approach, which seems to connect with voters on a personal level. People are seeing him as more authentic, and it's making a difference. BetDavid also highlights why so many families and businesses are leaving high-tax states like California for places like Florida or Texas, where policies are more supportive of growth and stability. This shift shows how important state policies are for people's everyday lives. And then there's BetDavid's take on the Republican Party's split between the old establishment and the new populist movement. This raises a big question. Is this populist wave here to stay? And how will it shape both parties in the future? What do you think? Is Trump's new style winning people over? Or is it really about the policies? Drop your thoughts below. Let's get back to the video.
A little bit on that last point. I don't think Kamala Harris really has a political identity. I think Kamala Harris will kind of change her political identity depending on what she thinks is beneficial for her in getting elected.
So look, I'm a populist, so I can't stand the donor class and the establishment, et cetera. I think the Democratic Party lost not because they used corporate robot A versus corporate robot B. I think that they all would have lost. I think DeSantis probably would have lost. I think that Trump has a gigantic advantage because he appears to be authentic. He appears to be populist. I've been on your show. You know that I don't think he actually is populist. There is a real rift in the Republican Party for the first time in my life. In the old days, it was always, no, Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney and George Bush are wonderful people, and it just, the donors need everything, and thank God Mitch McConnell got it to them, right? And now I know a lot of people hate Mitch McConnell and they don't like the donor class, they become more populist, but I'm worried about their authenticity. I'm worried that if Trump starts to do all the things that are not at all populist, but the old Republican way of give everything to the corporations, give everything to the donors, that you guys aren't really going to object, and that your audience would be mad at you if you objected. And so I'm worried that there will not be any kind of populist, not only an uprising on the right, but even an objection on the right if Trump begins to betray his promises, does more war in the Middle East, et cetera.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And by the way, you have to also realize, even on the right, after what happened with Hamas and Israel, the conservative had different factions that you would look at on the positions that they had. And the military industrial complex community is like, hey, why are we trying to go to war? This John Bolton guy, all these, Liz Cheney is now this incredible woman that Whoopi Goldberg on The View. Oh my God, Liz, you're so amazing. Her father was like the ultimate military industrial complex. Now the left is kissing her ass. What the hell happened to the left? The one area with Trump that you got to give him credit for, he doesn't want war. And he said it and he did it while he was in. And I don't know if you guys saw what Dmitry Medvedev said a couple days ago when he came out and he said, if Trump even thinks about trying to prevent or get in the way of our war with us and Ukraine, there will be a JFK type style assassination. I'm sure you saw that. And then he came out and he says Kamala Harris is dumb, is stupid, is uneducated and controllable. I think these are some of the words that he used against them. So of course, the position that he had for the first 4 years, doesn't want war. Is he going to go out and all of a sudden be pro-war? If he does that, Cenk, the base that supported him is going to be very, very loud and against it. It's just going to happen.
So wrapping up, it's clear this debate between PatrickBetDavid and the Young Turks sheds light on the big questions facing American politics today. BetDavid's perspective highlights why Trump's current approach is resonating, especially with those who feel frustrated by high tax, high regulation states and are looking for policies that support families and businesses. But what really stands out is the split within the Republican Party. As BetDavid points out, there's a divide between the traditional GOP and a new populist movement, raising questions about where the party and even the country is headed. This debate isn't just about one candidate, it's about the issues and values that seem to be reshaping both sides. So what's your take? Do you think this shift in the Republican Party will stick? Is Trump's new tone a sign of lasting change or just a strategy? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.